Today, I'm going to tell you the story of the Carajás project. Hey, engineering folks, have you ever wondered how one of the greatest mineral riches on the planet was discovered in the middle of the Amazon? A region known for its biodiversity, but that hid beneath its forests a fortune in iron so vast that it changed the course of global mining. The truth is that the discovery of Serra dos Carajás was accidental, the result of a diverted flight, a curious geologist, and a sequence of events that revealed the largest iron ore province in the world. But first, what is the Carajás project? It is one of the largest mining enterprises on the planet, located in the southeast of Pará in the Brazilian Amazon. Its main deposit, Serra dos Carajás, holds iron reserves estimated at 18 billion tons. With an ore grade that reaches 67% purity, one of the highest in the world. Besides iron, the region is rich in copper, gold, manganese, and other minerals. The project includes open-pit mines, an 892-kilometer railway known as the Carajás Railway, and the Ponta da Madeira terminal at the port of São Luís in Maranhão. There, the ore is exported to countries like China, Japan, and South Korea. But how did it all begin? The story begins in 1967, at the height of the Brazilian military dictatorship, when the government encouraged the exploitation of natural resources to boost the economy. At the time, the company US Steel, through its Brazilian subsidiary Meridional Mineração, was conducting prospecting in the Amazon. The Brazilian geologist Breno Augusto dos Santos was part of the team. On a July day of that year, the helicopter carrying Breno and other geologists had to avoid a storm and landed in a clearing near Serra Arqueada. When he spotted reddish-colored rocks, Breno collected samples. The tests revealed something surprising. It was hematite, a very high-quality iron ore, with a concentration above 60%. The discovery was initially kept secret, but soon it spread that they had found the largest iron reserve in the world, right in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. But let's get to it. What happened after the discovery? USA Steel tried to negotiate the exploitation rights with the Brazilian government. But in 1970, the military regime created the state-owned company Companhia Vale do Rio Doce, now known as Vale Sociedade Anônima, to manage strategic resources. After years of tensions, in 1977, Vale took control of the region, while US Steel received a shareholding and rights over part of the production. The project moved forward in the 1980s with the construction of the Carajás Railway, inaugurated in 1985, connecting the mines to the port of São Luís. The railway, one of the longest in Brazil, was crucial for transporting the ore, but it also generated conflicts. That's because its route cut through indigenous lands and preservation areas, raising criticism from environmentalists and local communities. And what was the economic impact of the Carajás project? The region became a pillar of the Brazilian economy. Vale extracts on average 150 million tons of iron ore per year from Carajás, accounting for almost a third of the national production. Brazil, thanks to Carajás and other deposits, is the second largest global exporter of iron, behind only Australia. Mining royalties financed infrastructure in municipalities like Paraupebas and Açailândia. But the unequal distribution of these resources has created social contrasts. While luxury condominiums were being built, thousands of immigrants settled in the outskirts without basic sanitation. In addition, deforestation associated with the mines and the railway put pressure on the forest, where between 1988 and 2021, the legal Amazon lost 469,000 square kilometers of vegetation. Part of this was due to mining activities. And how do the Carajás mines work? The Carajás mineral complex is one of the most sophisticated in the world, made up of multiple mines distributed across three major areas: Serra Norte, Serra Sul, and Serra Leste, in addition to projects under development such as Serra Arqueada. Each of these mines has unique geological and operational characteristics, but they all share the same monumental scale and cutting-edge technology. Serra Norte, the oldest and most productive, is divided into four main mines: N4E, N4W, N5, and N5 Sul, in addition to the N1 mine. N4 was the first to begin operations in 1984, with pits that exceed 300 meters in depth, equivalent to a 100-story building. N5, active since 2007, is considered the heart of Carajás, with iron ore reserves so dense that a single ton of rock can yield up to 600 kilograms of usable iron. Together, the mines of Serra Norte produce more than 100 million tons of ore per year, with an average iron content of 66%, the highest on the planet. In Serra Sul, the S11D project stands out, inaugurated in 2016 and considered the largest mining project in Vale's history. Located in Canaã dos Carajás, the S11D operates in an area of 1,500 hectares and has estimated reserves of 4.2 billion tons of ore. Unlike traditional mines, the S11D uses extraction technology without water in the beneficiation process, which we call the dry process, reducing water consumption by 93%. With an annual capacity of 90 million tons, the S11D raised the total production of Carajás to about 230 million tons in 2023. Serra Leste, on the other hand, in operation since 2012, is a smaller but strategic mine with a production of 10 million tons per year. Its ore, with an iron content of 64%, is used to complement the production of the previous mines. In addition, Vale is studying the feasibility of Serra Arqueada, an area close to the original discovery which could add 1 billion tons of reserves to the complex. After several stages, which range from extracting the raw ore from open pits to washing, part of the ore is turned into pellets, which are spheres 1 centimeter in diameter, with an iron content of 67%, and are ideal for steel-making blast furnaces. The rest is exported as lump ore, which is loaded directly onto ships, or as fines, which are smaller particles. But to connect mining to the ports, we have the engineering of the railway and the port. The Carajás Railway, with 892 kilometers, is one of the most efficient railway systems in the world. Its trains, pulled by locomotives, have up to 330 cars and are 3.3 kilometers long, equivalent to 30 soccer fields. Each train carries 39,000 tons of ore per trip, making 10 trips daily. At the Ponta da Madeira terminal in São Luís, Maranhão, the ore is stored in yards and later loaded onto Valimax ships, the largest ore carriers in the world, with 362 meters in length and a capacity of 400,000 tons. These maritime giants make the Brazil-China route in 40 days, supplying steel mills like Baosteel, the world's largest steel producer. What about the scientific legacy of this discovery? The Serra dos Carajás is a geological treasure. Studies reveal that its formations are over 2.5 billion years old from the Archean era, when the Earth was still forming. The region also contains caves with unique fossil records and isolated ecosystems, such as waterfall lakes and endemic species of fish and plants. But what is the current situation of the Carajás project? Today, Vale invests in technology to boost efficiency and cut impacts. In 2020, the company announced the goal of reaching net zero carbon emissions by 2050, which includes electrifying machines and trains. The Carajás mine is also testing autonomous trucks, similar to those used in Australia, to increase safety and productivity. Recent accidents highlight the risks involved in this activity. In 2018, an earthquake in Parauapebas, possibly linked to mining, damaged houses and frightened residents. In 2023, IBAMA fined Vale for waste leaks into tributaries of the Parauapebas River, highlighting failures in monitoring. But why is the Carajás project so important? Besides its economic value, Carajás symbolizes the dilemmas of development in the Amazon. It shows how natural resources can drive a nation, but also how unbalanced exploitation creates social and environmental conflicts. For Brazil, it is a vital source of foreign exchange, where in 2022, iron ore exports yielded 33 billion, most of it from Carajás. Globally, the mine supplies essential production chains in the construction and automotive industries. Without its high-purity iron, rapidly developing countries like China would face difficulties sustaining their growth. The demand for ore will remain high, but under new requirements. The energy transition requires iron for wind turbines and electric vehicles, which keeps Carajás relevant. However, investors and consumers are now pushing for green mining. Vale, for example, created green iron, certified as low carbon, using reforested charcoal in part of the process. The challenge is to balance production with preservation. Technologies like satellites to monitor deforestation and drones to inspect risk areas are promising steps, but government oversight and pressure from civil society will be crucial. Meanwhile, the Serra dos Carajás remains a paradox. Beneath its red soil, there is enough wealth to build cities, but also urgent lessons about how to exploit the planet without destroying it. If you've made it this far and enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, leave your like and turn on the notification bell. And if you find our content interesting, consider becoming a member to help us keep producing content here on the platform and be mentioned in our videos. So, did you know the story of Carajás? Did you know its discovery was an accident? Leave it here in the comments because I want to know. Right here on the side, there are two interesting video options that you need to watch to expand your knowledge and explore your curiosity. To support us, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and consider becoming a member. That's all, engineering fans. Big hug. See you next video.